Hi, welcome to our Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. His name is Mike Brenner. Today is Monday, October 24th. It's Monday of Week 9 in college football. This is our Monday opening line show. First of all, Mike Brenner, you know it's not always happy and roses and rainbows and everything, but today it is because last week you went 8-5 in college. I went 11-6 against the spread in college. Sharps went 8-4 against the spread in college. We also did well in NFL.
Yes,
nice job, Mike Brenner.
Hey, we did pretty good in baseball too.
That's right. We can throw the record up. Overall, you can see what our record is. You had a great call on Michigan first half, and they didn't lose they lost the full game against the spread.
They did. So, you know, one thing I'm glad I did, and had it not been for you, I wouldn't have done it. I pulled off that Ohio State first half.
Another
thank
call
God I did that. And Alabama. Hey, Doug Upstone and I had a fun time doing that video.
That's right. You're really doing well with taking Alabama and the Pats in the NFL, going against a bunch of people and a bunch of sharps, a bunch of pseudo sharps, and a bunch of posters who think you're on the wrong side of that. But it seems like the Pats and Alabama, like I've said, these elite teams are actually sometimes, good bets as big favorites, even though normally with teams like maybe number 2 and number 3, you'd be looking to fade.
Exactly. And Bama was that team years ago. It's just what's happened with their offense. But moving forward, Pistol, and congratulations to you. How'd you do on your totals, if you don't mind me asking?
I did well. I don't remember how I did on totals.
Are we still numero uno?
Actually, I am, although I lost a few units, so it means that the guys, above me or right near me lost even more units.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, thanks for that update.
Yep,
for real.
Still numero uno
Good
in
stuff.
totals at covers. And all right, so let's
totals low, Shaq.
A lot of interesting stuff. I guess let's start with there's actually a bunch of picks that I want to give, except that they've all moved against me. So that's all right. And these half points do matter. Once a lot of times they don't, but eventually one or two will come back to bite you. And I'll just start with the two that I'm definitely going to give. Both have moved against me. Iowa State is a home underdog to Kansas State, right?
Yeah,
and Iowa State is off a bye.
Yep.
Kansas State, was an interesting team, right?
Yeah.
The Sharps actually bet against them last week with Texas, and they took them at Texas +4. Wound up betting Texas all the way up to a -1 favorite, and Texas wound up losing by 3.
And Kansas State pretty much had that game from start to finish as far as having the lead, and it is the demise of Charlie Strong. There's another one that we called that will be out the door.
Yeah. So Kansas State, a good team, but are they that good that they should be a touchdown favorite on the road at Iowa State off a bye? Maybe, but I'm willing to bet against it.
Yeah,
What do you think?
it's a bye. I think, if anything, I'd jump on your side, and a lot of teams, they get flying high after a win, but what they got to understand is that's not the same. You didn't beat the Texas team that we know of in the past, you know.
Now, the problem here is that I took them at +7 on the Sunday night line. Now it's not there at all. It's 5.5 at Pinnacle. It's 6.5 -115 at Bookmaker.
Actually, Pete, the more I think about it, you know what? I like that because Texas isn't that team, all right? Iowa State is coming off a bye. You got a Kansas State team that, with words being said, hey, they beat Texas. That might be some overvalue. They're good, but
are they that good? I'm willing to bet no. So I'm going to take Iowa State +6.5 -115. I could decide to buy up to 7, but I'll just go with the.
I like the breakdown, though,
6.5 -115. Although I wish I could be getting 7.
Is that a Saturday game?
Yes, it's a Saturday game. Then another one that I bet that was also +7 that also is now I won't be able to take at 7 is Duke at Georgia Tech, and I think Duke is off a bye. Yes, I'm liking Duke. I got him at +7 on the overnight. Again, now it's down to 6 or 6.5 market wide, so I'll take +6.5 -109 at Pinnacle.
I wouldn't talk you off that ledge. Georgia Tech, I mean, they really struggled to beat Georgia Southern a couple weeks ago. I mean, this.
Duke, I believe, is off a bye. I don't have my notes in front of me.
I think they are. Matter of fact, them and Georgia Tech both, if I'm correct.
Are they? Yeah, but I think that I think
but
that
Cutcliffe, he plays them tough anyway, and Paul. I like that.
Duke will have enough to hang tough, to hang tight with them, I think. Then there's a bunch of other lines that are very, very interesting. First, let's talk about it. I've had a good record overall on this show, but 2 losses I've taken have been Virginia as a home underdog, as a pretty big home underdog. Now they're a huge home underdog to Louisville.
Don't go
and I got
there
to admit,
again.
Mike Brenner.
Are you going back?
No, but I'm tempted to. And I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. What do you think about Louisville as -28?
I know.
At Virginia. What do you think, Mike Brenner?
Louisville on the road, I'm staying off of them. I just, even though they looked solid last week and everything else, I don't know. I have to stay off of that. If anything, I'd pull a trigger on a first half because they damn sure started out quick again. All right, but I'm staying off.
Well, we'll see where this line moves and where it closes. Before the week is out, I might be on Virginia once again as a home dog.
Yeah, because that might move up to 29 or 30.
Yeah,
and
I'm going to have to do some more research on that one.
Then you'd have to take Virginia with that many points when you think about it. You would think, right?
I think so. It's just like you see this a lot of times in sports betting where it's like, all right, I bet them once as a home dog loss, bet them twice as a home dog loss.
Yeah.
Now, the one time I don't bet them is when they will actually cover.
And I can totally relate to that. But
so then I'm like, all right, now I will bet them again, and then they lose a third time in a row. But
Oh,
you know how it goes.
It's one of them double-edged swords.
That's
what are you
right.
going to do?
All right, now let's talk about Michigan and Michigan State. Michigan State
can't
lost
wait.
again.
Let me all over it again. It's just a bad team. And you know what? There's a lot of people, because of how well that coach has done in the past, they're not even stressing about him and losing his job, and he shouldn't, but they're definitely stressing about the lack of, of having the quality kids coming. All right, their recruiting is what they say has been taking a step backwards. That, and apparently offensive line coach has been underachieving this year. Supposedly he's going to be gone. But this has got Michigan written all over because of last year, the way that game ended. And I don't care. I'm telling you right now, I'll take the half at whatever it comes out at. And I'm taking the game.
Opener?
Yeah, bookmaker opener for the half. And the full game, is it still minus 21.5?
Yes, it actually opened at 21, but now we can give you minus 21.5.
Yep, I love it. This is going to be, and trust me, there's nobody out there that can't tell me, all right, that can tell me that Harbaugh does not want to open up a can of whoop ass on this team.
Right.
It's nothing personal with the coaches, but the way they lost last year, and not just that, they now are number 2 in the country behind the best team in the country, Alabama. So they are definitely they're getting ranked for their worth. So he has no choice but to pour it on and let them know. And I mean, if anything, the one game you don't want to have a letdown is against a team that has been now 6 weeks in a row underachieving. Harbaugh is licking his chops. This team has its game circled. Matter of fact, I don't even think Michigan State's going to put up a fight. This is going to be a wheelbarrow shovel. It's in the 30s, and it's going to be a shutout, but it's in the 30s at halftime.
I mean, sometimes in these rivalry games, I understand Michigan is like a special level of elite this year, but sometimes in these rivalry games, you see this with when Marshall plays West Virginia and stuff like that. Yeah. The teams that are legitimately bad show up and outperform their season.
This is a different situation this year.
Right.
Total different situation, Pete.
All right.
And I get that, and I totally agree with that. But yeah, bookmaker opener on the half, the full game minus 21.5, baby.
Sounds good. Now let's talk about Houston. Houston lost to SMU. I was leaning SMU. Didn't have the balls to pull the trigger on it in the show.
Shit, it's a shame you didn't. They won outright.
Yeah. And now, they opened as a 10-point favorite over UCF. Now they're down to 8.5 or 9. You think it can get it together and rally and just get a double-digit win over UCF or what?
Amazing. I just read an article last week, and then after this game they just played, literally, that's his name, Tom Herman, the coach.
Yeah.
He pulled a Barney Fife. He shot himself right in the foot because that Texas job, because of that loss to SMU, is gone. That will be pulled off the table. I guarantee it. That job will not even be offered to him. So he shot himself in the foot. How does this team respond? Does this coach get so pissed off and they come out and they go on fire? Or do they revert, which they've been doing, backwards? I got to stay the hell off it.
You think so?
Absolutely. Greg Ward Jr., again, this kid looked like a high school kid yesterday. Saturday. With no disrespect, he just looked totally flustered the whole game.
All right. And then another team that we've had success with, Purdue. We both had a casher with Purdue.
By the way, bam.
Very nice, very nice. And the under. I took this one at 14 on the opener. Now it's down to 11.5, although I'm not sure about
America.
it because
I had a chance to take it with 14. It's down to 11.
Purdue, 11 and a half.
I was going to take him at 14, and I'm not kidding. I'm talking early this morning.
You might have saved yourself a little bit of trouble, though, because Purdue, they're vulnerable against the run, and Penn State has that massive run game.
I know, but I got a feeling Penn State might have just had that one game, though, too, where they went, woohoo, we did it, right? And they're going into a dangerous place. Purdue, it's not easy to play there.
Sure. Well, I got
14 to 11. I should have took that.
I did take it at 14 on Sunday night. I bet it. Now it's down to 11 and a half.
And I'm not kidding you. This morning, before you got here, I was here at 6 a.m. I promise you, I was this close to pulling the trigger, and I didn't.
Right.
I thought maybe it'll jump up.
No. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Now, next one is Texas as a home dog to Baylor. What do you think about that? 3 or 3.5?
Well, I think you got one overrated team, Baylor.
Yeah.
I think they're well overrated. I don't even think they're a top 10 team, and I'm telling you, if they played anybody in the top 5 right now, they'd get their asses handed to them by double digits. No disrespect, Baylor, but your team's overvalued. I'm telling you right now, if they were playing anybody else but Texas, I'd be on the other side.
But Texas, you think, is just not the kind
terrible.
of team.
Yeah, Charlie Strong knows this is over. This is done. His career at Texas is done.
All right, now moving down the line, a 10-foot pole game for me, but let's just touch on it to see if you have anything to say, if either funny or illuminating. Miami and Notre Dame. Notre Dame coming off the bye. Notre Dame opened as a 1-point favorite. Now Miami's the favorite. The question, I guess, here is just how bad is Notre Dame? They're at home. They're a dog to Miami, a decent team, but they've lost 3 in a row. right?
They sure have. And I got to stay off of this game because Miami's the team I thought they would be. Actually, I think they did a little, they got a little high on themselves early. But that's a rebuilding program. Rick's doing a great job with the way it has to be done. What scares me is on the other side of the ball because this is just horrendous. So, therefore, that pole can't even be here fast enough.
Yeah.
That's a 10-foot pole for me,
Ultimate
Pistol.
10-foot pole game. All right. I'm also thinking about Florida Atlantic, but I'll wait on that. And let's talk about Washington, right? They're a 10-point road favorite at Utah. It was actually 10.5 on the overnight.
Yep.
Give
it to me all day.
You
First
like
half
Washington,
full game, absolutely. They're not even in the same league, Utah. And again, I've said it all year. This Chris Peterson's the real deal. This team now is a legitimate threat. All right, they just got to keep clicking. There's no room for them whatsoever to take the foot off the pedal off the metal. They can't. Pete, I love this thing. I had looked at it at -10 earlier. Is it still available?
-10, -106.
And I'm going to take the bookmaker first half opener.
Bookmaker opener. All right, Utah. We've talked about this before. Utah used to have the reputation of a team that had a strong home field advantage, and then on the road they faded. But that's definitely reversed recently.
It's flipped.
I liked them on against UCLA last week. I didn't have the balls to take them, but
you're gonna have to, you know what? I'm tired of hearing that one too. You're going to have to start pulling the trigger on these balls.
If I pull the trigger on every borderline college play, I'll have 50 plays,
That's
60
true.
plays
Or not
every
more.
week.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
All right. What else is interesting here? Nebraska at Wisconsin. Now, we know that Nebraska has a bunch of injuries on offense. When will that catch up with them? It didn't catch up with them last week in terms of a straight up win, but they definitely caught up with them in terms of the total and ATS against Purdue. What do you think? It's now up to 7.5 or 8 for Wisconsin.
I'm all over this. I'm all over Wisconsin
Yeah.
on the full game, -7.5, and I'm going to take the bookmaker opening on the first half because they're on a mission. They know what they have to do. Nebraska, come on, they just got rid of Bo Bellini for crying out loud. That mess is still stinking over there. It's going to take time. I'm telling you, this is Wisconsin's game. I love it on the half, and I love it on the full game.
Okay,
buddy.
you're going official on both of those, right?
Yes, I am. Yep.
Okay, then there's one
I'm
other
not
pick.
even done yet. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna give it. I might pull it if I do more research, but I think I'm gonna give it. I think I'm gonna give North Texas plus 3.5 over UTSA. North Texas has actually been quietly, quietly
kill me. You kill me. You come out of there out of left field with these little small schools.
I won't break that one down, but I'll take it. North Texas plus 3.5. Now let's see. Another one here that is interesting is, of course, Texas A&M is a massive favorite against New Mexico State, and New Mexico State actually in the past bunch of years has actually been a terrible bet as a massive underdog against these kinds of teams. It's been a while since they've
what happened last week? I don't know. How do they react? You know what? I think that team's going to be just fine. A&M.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Texas A&M on the first half opener when it comes out, but I'll hold off to see where the line moves and what that line is.
I'm waiting for a minute. I want to get a locker room report to see how they gathered the troops after that. Because bottom line, man, you got handled. They got handled.
Yeah.
They had some spots, but the better team won. They're not in that same league, and I'm not being cocky with it, but Bama just did everything I thought they would do and some. And that Lane Kiffin, I'm telling you, he still has it out for Saban, and they're not done yet. Pete, there's a game I'm just dying to talk about.
Is that Clemson, Florida State?
Hell yes.
Okay, let's hear what you have to say about it.
I just want the full game minus the 4 if it's still available.
Yes, there is still 4 available.
I don't think there's any way Florida State has made enough improvement in the last few weeks. I don't think Delvin Cook is going to be able to penetrate this defense. And I think for sure that Deshaun Watson doesn't care what venue, what stadium, where he's at. This kid wants to win. This team is out on a mission. I love it. I want Clemson for the full game -4.
-4,
and I love it. I think this is a coaching thing. Dabo Sweeney will out-coach Jimbo Fisher. And I'm telling you, there's some holes in that defense that Deshaun Watson, if he doesn't exploit him with his arm, which he will, when they try to make an adjustment, he's going to take off with his legs. He's going to be the weapon killer against Florida State.
Okay. I trust you, Mike Brenner. And then there's one other game that I also bet on the overnight line at +7 that has also moved. This one I'm liking the least out of all the ones that I did, but tell me what you think about it. Stanford at Arizona. Stanford lost, right? Now, Arizona, look, Arizona, a ton of injuries this year, not a great team, but they are coming off a bye. If there's going to be 1 week where they're at their top, performance at their top level.
Did you see what happened during the bye? It was a moving truck outside of Rich Rodriguez's house. That guy's so fired, he can't stand it, Pistol.
A ton of problems with that team, for sure.
This is a 10-foot pole, and this is
10-foot pole?
Yeah, I can't let you do it no matter what. I can't. I
mean,
can't. I don't think Dennis would let you do this one.
Stanford has a program that does have some resiliency, even as bad as things are looking for them right now.
But I got to stay off it.
Yeah. I'm going to stay off it as well.
Last week.
I did bet it at +7, and now it's down to 5 or 5.5 market wide. So maybe I'll revisit it later on in the week.
Okay.
There's a lot of other plays that I'm leaning towards, but I'm gonna
I've got one other to talk about.
Oh, really? Let's hear it.
And I'm all over it. And I want the first half only. All right. And I love it. Tennessee. Matter of fact,
right,
I'm not
right,
stopping there. I want
right,
the full
right.
game, too. What is that game at? Is
It's
it
right
7?
now it's 13.
13.
And the full game.
That's right. Matter of fact,
although the
I'm
Greek
not-
has 12 and a half.
I'm not taking the full game. That's why. That's what
Okay.
I'm doing, though. I am going to take the bookmaker opener
on the
first half. And here's why. I just think Butch Johnson's going to outcoach Muschamp. All right. Tennessee's got some frustrated. They're frustrated about things that could have went the other way. All right. This is the perfect time to take it out on an SEC opponent and a team that really, South Carolina, that's a lost team right now,
Yeah.
I feel. And Muschamp doesn't know what direction he's getting hit. And Butch Jones will outcoach him. And Josh Dobbs is going to have a hell of a game. Tennessee's going to cover.
I'll
first
tell you what,
half.
I actually, I can admit my losses. Last week I thought that maybe South Carolina against a weak opponent in UMass would
That was
come
an
to it
embarrassment.
and get a blowout
Matter of
win.
fact, give me the 13. They're going to kick the dog shit out of them.
So I did bet
13.
South
I'm serious.
Carolina minus 20 and a half over UMass, and that one didn't come close to covering. So
Pete, I'm
exactly
revisiting
how bad
that one
is
right
this South
now.
Carolina?
I'm revisiting the full game. Is it 13?
Yeah, it's 12 and a half. We can give you
I want the
Greek,
12 and a
minus
half
12
then.
and a half.
Yep,
Okay.
I'm all over it. We're going for the half in the game.
And the
How
full
does
game.
South Carolina react after that game against UMass? Nowhere near as effective, all right, and productive as Tennessee will react after that loss they had a couple weeks ago. 2 games that really they could have won. So I love it. I think it's a no-brainer. I got a bunch of picks, Pistol.
All right. Well, there's a lot of games that I'm leaning towards, but I am going to do some more research into them before I give them officially. That will come Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. We'll do a show every day, adding picks to our slate.
Before we
as
go,
did last
I
week.
got to
Yep.
give you some props.
What's that?
Stepping it up on Twitter. Thank you, Pistol Pete.
Yeah.
I was getting barraged by Twitter followers. Why won't Pete accept? All of a sudden, Pistol Pete stepped up, and I had a ton of people liking that one. So
All right. Well, I'm very flattered, and I will try to tweet out as many possible winners as I possibly
That's
can. In between all this research that I do. So, Mike Brenner, we're going to be back tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You want to review your picks just for the
I
folks
sure
who
do.
are here?
I'm pulling the trigger. Clemson for the full game. I'm going Wisconsin on the first half, and all my halves will be bookmaker openers. And I'm going on Wisconsin for the game itself, minus 7.5. Pulling the trigger with Tennessee, first half and the full game. Pistol Pete line shopping got me minus 12.5. Michigan Wolverines, baby. I can't wait until they just absolutely snowball Michigan State. All right. First half and the game minus 21.5. And I'm also going with Washington against Utah, at Utah even. I like the first half, and I'm going with the full game minus 10. Pistol Pete, I'm feeling it this
All
week.
right. Well,
Telling
you were 8-5 against spread last week. I was 11-6 against spread last week.
Yep.
Hopefully, we can do
Let's
it
do
again.
it.
Nice picks.
We can,
and we'll
buddy.
be back with catch our videos tomorrow for any picks that we're looking to add.
That's right. Bet responsible.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.